Hey guys, Trevor with Shadow Systems is Technical Tuesday, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the philosophy that hopefully you have as a concealed carrier. So let's say that you carry a pistol every day, maybe something like this CR920 Elite black barreled gun. This one's got a little Holosun on it. Carrying a gun, as everyone knows, has a tremendous moral obligation that comes with it, and I'm not going to preach about that, but I am going to just say that anybody who's on maybe the anti-gun side of the fence, I think sometimes thinks that people who carry guns want to do violent things. That ownership of a gun is like an indicator that you're like a violent person who wants to go out in society and pretend it's the OK Corral and get in a gunfight. And I think actually nothing could be further from the truth. I think actually people who are serious about self-defense realize the ramifications of that and understand that, in fact, as has often been said, an armed society is a polite society. So an armed society where people are armed, that's a world where out of control conflict behavior has really serious ramifications. And so our philosophy as concealed carriers should be to de-escalate whenever possible, right? And I think everybody thinks that way, but just as a reminder, okay, the act of of violence on another human being is life-changing in many ways. Okay, so if God forbid you're forced to protect yourself or a family member, there's a whole host of things aside from just the fact that someone is potentially losing their life or having a life-changing injury. You're also looking at other things like a lifetime of legal fees and potentially a highly traumatic experience for a loved one or a child who's present and witnesses it. And so this is like a big deal, and it's not something that any of us take lightly. So de-escalation, unless you are backed into a corner and it's your last resort, de-escalation, in my opinion, is the watchword. And obviously being practical about where you go. Like you don't, it's like I'm not going to go to dangerous places at night, right? If I can avoid it. Now, I have a right to be there if I need to be, but generally I'm going to plan my life in a way that limits my exposure to bad situations. Okay. Now, with that said, bad situations do happen. And one of the things that I know some concealed carriers, EDC shooters, gun people think about is that it is very likely that in the event that you are forced to use a weapon to protect yourself, it's very likely that you'll lose ownership of that gun permanently, indefinitely. It's going to become part of evidence, even if you don't use it. Okay, even if you just brandish it, or if you are forced to draw it or something, you may lose the gun forever. So one of the things that Shadow has done since the very beginning, and it's in our manual, and it's been there since the first gun we shipped, is our self-defense warranty, which essentially says that if you're forced to use your gun for self-protection in a legally justified way, a way that Shadow deems legally justified after our own investigation of the facts and police reports and so forth, then Shadow will replace the pistol at our cost. We want to make sure we're not giving guns to bad people, of course, so we gather whatever information is available, and that gun, that replacement gun, does go to an FFL for transfer. So that same background check process happens for that new gun. But the point is, we do replace the gun if you're ever forced to use it. And yes, Shadow has replaced a lot of guns, and we do extend that, by the way, to law enforcement officers who have privately purchased the gun, not agency purchases, but privately purchased the gun for use on duty. We extend that to those duty weapons as well. Okay, so our self-defense warranty is in our manual, is on our website. You can read it in more detail if you're interested. That's one thing we do to stand behind our customers, but you should be in the world hoping you never have to use that, obviously, and you should de-escalate and be cautious and be prudent in how you live your life to avoid something as terrible as using your gun in self-defense. That's all I have for you this week, just some philosophy, and we'll see you next time.